What's up, guys? I'm Dwayne,
I'm Alicia.
and we are Blackboard Gaming, where we teach you about all these great board games that are out there.
Waiting to be played by you and yours. I'm a simple man, don't wanna complicate complication.
How's everybody been doing out there?
We hope everyone is well. We were unable to record last week because we had a hiccup.
Yeah, and that hiccup was my laptop died, so I had to get it fixed.
But we are so happy to be back.
Yes.
So, today we're going to talk about a game that recently won the Kennerspiel. That game is Paleo.
Paleo is a game designed by Peter Russmeyer and published by Z-Man Games. Let's go to the table for an overview of how this game is played. Paleo is a cooperative adventure game for 2 to 4 players where the players are cavemen in the Stone Age fighting for survival. And this is the game of Paleo set up on the table. We would take these 3 boards and place them in the middle of the play area. So starting on the right, we have our campsite board. And the campsite board is where the players will be keeping their resources that they've gathered throughout the game. And we start the game with 5 meat, but there's also stone and wood that we can get. We have our deck of people cards that will make up our tribe. We have dream cards, and we also have idea cards that I will talk about in a little bit. As game setup, each player will draw 2 people from the deck, and that will make up their starting tribe. So if we're setting up for a 2-player game, player 1 will grab his 2 people. So we look at them, and we got a gatherer and an inventor. So the gatherer has the awareness attribute, and then the inventor has the skill. They also have some tools that they'll start the game with. So we got a torch and a rope. So player 1 would take his 2 people, and then he would take his torch and that rope. Player 2 will pull his people. He gets a crafter and a hunter. Crafter has the skill attribute, and the hunter has the 3rd attribute, which is strength. He also gets a pelt. So player 2 will reach and get his pelt. Now let's look over to the left board. And this is the nighttime board. And the nighttime board shows your win condition and your lose condition. In order to win the game, the players are trying to assemble this cave painting. I have it already assembled so you can see how nice and satisfying that looks when we actually pull it off. But of course, and it comes in 5 pieces. So this will be off to the side. To lose the game, if we ever get 5 skulls placed on this board, we will lose the game. Now, how do you get skulls? Well, let's look at our people real quick. So when we send our people out to do stuff and they get injured, they would get one of these tokens and place it over their heart. If ever they get a token placed where the skull is, then they die. And they will be placed in the cemetery, which is where we will place cards that are removed from the game. And we will place a skull on the board. So, of course, that didn't happen. So, the game comes with different scenarios known as modules. And there are 10 modules in the game. And they're lettered A through J. As a beginning game, they tell you to play with module A and B. And each module has a mission. So let's look at these missions. So this mission says, during the nighttime phase, we have to be able to return 3 meat and 1 pelt to the supply, or we get a skull. This mission, we have to be able to return a tent token to the supply, or we would get a skull. So that's the other ways you would get skulls in the game. Speaking of tent, I'm going to show you this tool bench up here. Now this tool bench is where the players would go if they want to create tools. So if you see, this tent is part of Module B. And in order to make this tent, you need 2 skill, return 2 wood, and 2 pelt to the supply in order to get a tent token, which is right here. Also, we can go make a torch. So in order to make a torch, we have to discard a wood to the supply to make a torch, and that would give us, let me get at that focus for a minute, that would give us awareness once we return that torch to the supply. We could return a stone to the supply and make this stone tool, and that would give us skill, and we would have that skill all the time. We could return 1 wood and 1 stone to the supply and make this spear that would give us strength. Over to the right are other items or tools that we can create throughout the game, but in order to create those, we would have to have the ideas up there. So that's where this idea deck comes in play. So let's take a look at a few of them. So here we could discard a wood, make a rope. And the rope, if we discard the rope, we could use it for strength, skill, or awareness. Here, we could discard a pelt to make clothing. Here, we could discard a wood and a stone tool that we made earlier to make a hatchet. And that hatchet would give us strength and skill. So that's pretty cool. Let's put those back. Now, I pointed out this board, the tool shed or the workbench. Let's go here. And this is where everything's going to happen. So, as I said, we're playing with Module A and Module B. So, we take those cards in those modules, and you would take the cards in the base, the cards that you would play with all the time in every scenario, and you would shuffle those up together, and then we would divide them evenly between the 2 players, which I've already done. And I got them here just so it could fit in the camera. Usually they would have it in front of them, but I got it here in front. So once we've done that, we can start the game. So what the players are doing in the game is they're going to draw 3 cards off the top of their own deck, and then they're going to decide which card they want to play, discussing it with the other players, and then they're going to play that card face down in front of them, return the other 2 cards to the top of the deck, and then simultaneously reveal the card. So these cards represent locations. So let's say player 1 draws his top 3 cards. You got the forest, you got water, you got the campsite. So if you look over at the campsite board, it tells you what you might find if you go to these locations. So if you go to the forest board, you might find wood and meat. If you go to the water board, you might find meat and or pelt. The campsite, you can go to the campsite to either make something, or you can have an idea. So you can you got an idea and put it over on the workbench, or you can get more people to join up with your tribe, or you can have a dream. Let's say player 2 draws his top 3 cards. So he has a campsite, so he could do that same thing. He has a mountain, so he can go to the mountain and find stone or pelt. Now there's these red cards that are dangers, so you want to try to avoid them unless you think you really prepare for them. Go for it. So they might help you out. So let's say player 1, they discuss it. Player 1 says he wants to go to the forest to get some wood, and he returns these 2 cards back to the top of the deck. Player 2 decides, I'm going to go to the campfire. I want some more people to help us out. So he's going to do that. Place that here. Then each player is going to simultaneously reveal their card. So let's take a look at those. So as you can see, here, the forest, he reveals trees. Now, here are the choices. He has 3 choices. If he has 2 skill and is able to discard 2 cards off the top of his deck face down, he can get 3 wood. If you remember, one of his guys have 1 skill. So he needs 2 skill. He can also discard 2 cards off the top of his deck face down and get 1 wood. Or he can actually help the other player. Campsite, I can go make something, but I don't have any resources. All I got is meat. I can go get somebody else to join my tribe. So if I have 1 or 2, I can get 1 for free. If I have 3 or more, I have to pay a meat to get another person. Or I can help. So you freely discuss what you're going to do. Now, if you remember, player 2 has a guy that has skill. So player 2 says, I'm going to come help you. So he discards his card saying he's going to use the help token. So now player 1, we got this guy from player 1, this guy from player 2. We got 2 skill. So now player 1 has to discard 2 cards off the top of his deck face down. And so now he gets 3 wood and place it into the supply. And then we discard this face up. Now, if ever when you discard a card face down to pay for an action, and it's one of these red cards, then one of your people get a hit. They get an injury, so they would get this and place it on there. But that didn't happen. And so basically once that's done, then the players will repeat that process, drawing 3 cards off the top of the deck, deciding what they're going to do. Now, I don't want to go too much further in the game because I don't want to spoil anything. This game has modules and scenarios, and it is a great experience. So I want to leave the discovery for you when you play the game. But let's jump ahead to the nighttime phase. So whenever each player has run out of cards, each player, where all players have run out of cards. So let's say this guy, this is here, all face up. These are all face down. We've run out of cards to play. Then the nighttime phase happens. So nighttime phase starts with feeding your people. So for every person that you have in your collective tribes, you have to discard 1 meat. So we have 4 people. We would have to discard 4 meat, returning it to the supply. Then we would look at the missions. Now, bountiful prey, we would have to be able to return 3 meat and a pelt to the supply. If we can't, we get a skull. New World, we should have had a tent built by now, or make sure, or we get a skull. Then we would take all the cards from the discard pile, minus any that's in the cemetery. Those are removed from game, and we would shuffle them up, and we would deal them out equally to the players. And then we would start a whole new round, drawing 3 cards. And play would continue like that until one of 2 things have happened. If you got 5 skulls on this night board, that means you guys immediately lose. Or if you have assembled your cave painting, really nice, I love this part of the game, then all players will have 1 Paleo. So do you remember when I got this game?
No.
So one of our local board game stores had a Black Friday sale last year. And I like giving out board games for Christmas. So we went when they opened up, and they had 1 copy of Paleo sitting on the shelf. And the sale was 30% off. So I'd already heard about Paleo, and I was interested in the theme. So within 2 seconds of the door opening, the game was in my hand. So let's go right to it. What did you think about the thing?
So the caveman aspect of it didn't really jump out at me, but I did like the cooperative part of it. And I like that you said it was like a scaled down version of Robinson Crusoe. So I thought I could work with this.
Yeah, that's one of the things when I saw the run through for it, it just reminded me of a scaled down Robinson Crusoe because in Robinson Crusoe there's one way to win, but there's several ways to lose. But in this one, there's one way to win, one way to lose. If you make that cave painting, you win. You know, and I thought the theme is like it's not really embedded.
I think it's there.
It's there, because you gotta go out into the forests and the mountains to get wood and rocks to make the tools that you need to be able to defend yourself and survive in this stone age.
Right.
So
So yeah,
I was attracted to this thing.
yeah, I think it's pretty thematic.
Yeah. Okay. So what do you think about the components?
Oh my goodness, those meat, those
The
little
food.
the little meats are just hilarious to me. I think they're really, I love them. Of course, the art. I mean, the rocks and the wood are cool too. So I like the food, like the little resource tokens. I love the painting, the pieces for your cave painting.
Yeah.
I love that. So I really like the components. I think the components really match the theme and just lend themselves to the gameplay.
Yeah, I like the components. I do like the little meat, like you
Oh my
said, because it
goodness.
look like you got this big
Dinosaur drumstick or something. Yeah. It's
and I do like the cave painting.
Yes.
Because that adds to the theme.
Yes.
You're trying to let people that come after us know that we existed. So I like that. The cards are good quality.
yes.
Speaking of the cards, what do you think about the art?
The art is, it fits the theme. It's cartoony. It's
Yeah.
cartoony. It's colorful. It reminds me a little bit of the Flintstones.
Oh, you went way back.
Yeah, so I like the art. I really think the art fits the theme of the game.
Yeah, I do like the art. I like the art of the characters that make up your tribe.
Yes.
I like the art on the campsite board. I really, like I said, going back to that cave painting, I like that.
Yes.
So I really think that art does lend well to the game.
Yes.
All right, so what do you think about the mechanics?
I really like the mechanics. I like the action selection. I like that one.
Yeah.
I really enjoy resource management, so you have that. And of course, you have the action selection, you have the resource management, and you have
I like the hand management.
the hand management.
Yeah, I like because you've drawn 3 cards and you choose one card. And then you're aware of what cards you're putting back on top of your deck because some of those cards might hurt you.
That's actually part of your strategy.
Yeah.
So yes, I think the mechanics make the game enjoyable, challenging, and interesting.
Yeah, I like the resource management, like you said, the action selection, you figuring out when you reveal your card, which action are you going to take?
Exactly.
Yes. Are you going to go get that wood or am I going to help you out?
Exactly.
So, what do you think about the teach?
So, this game to me is intermediate. I think you need to have played some entry level games to really be able to play this game strategically and to really be able to understand it, I think, and enjoy it.
Yeah, I can see why this game won the Kennerspiel and not the Spiel des Jahres.
So, what is the difference?
Well, the Kennerspiel is the games are a little bit more complex. Where the Spiel des Jahres is more like family weight.
Okay.
Whereas this one, even though you're just drawing 3 cards, picking one, and putting the 2 back, but now you gotta figure out what your strategy is going to be.
Oh, I think this game is more. I think with older kids, you could
Yeah.
play. But yeah, this is not an entry level game, and it is challenging. It requires a lot of strategy, a lot of thinking.
But I will say, like, once you do like the different modules, and you lose a couple of times, but now you start becoming aware of what's coming up, and that was
Yes.
one of the reasons why I didn't want to reveal too much,
Yeah.
because it's all about the experience. I didn't want to let people know, like, to spoil the fun or discovery that the people will have when they play this game.
Actually, it's kind of like when you're reading a story now. Um, One of the things that makes a story engaging is
The unknown.
the unknown. I think
The
this might
unknown. I know where you're
happen.
going with that.
I think this might happen, but let's find out. So, yeah, it was that aspect of it, and I agree with you. And what I like about this game is because of the different modules, you have greater variety. So, even if you play it once, you can switch the modules and get a different experience.
Yep. So I, I like the game. Like, overall, what did you think about Paleo?
I really enjoyed Paleo. It was really, it just captured me. And what was funny was we played the first time and we lost.
Mm-hmm.
Then we played the second time and we almost won, but we still lost. So I was like, "Oh no, you can't put this game up. We
Yeah,
about to
because
play this
I was
baby
like,
again."
she wanted to play right then. I was like, I gotta go to work. She was like, no, leave it on the table then. When you come home, we gonna do this
playing
again.
this. I was determined. I was gonna beat this game. So yes.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this. I had to, like, for its complexity, I had to make sure that I wasn't telling you what to do, because that's a problem that can come up in cooperative games. And I wanted to, like, let you get a feel for it. That way I can say, so honey, what do you think we should do? What is your ideas? What's going through your mind right now?
So to be honest with you, I understand that. But the first couple of times, I did want him to just tell me what to do.
Oh, you saying that's why we lost? Because I told you what to do, and then when we won, you had an idea what to do?
No,
That's
no.
what that sound like.
No, no, but it took me a couple of times to really get confident in my decisions because there are so many factors to consider. So after a couple of rounds, I was a lot more comfortable deciding this is what I'm gonna do.
So let's go ahead and cut to the chase. We both enjoyed Paleo.
Yes.
We did enjoy Paleo. We see why I won the Kennerspiel.
Exactly.
It deserves it. If you get a chance, if you see this game, go ahead, pick it up. I think you and your family will enjoy it. So, if you like the contents of this video, feel free to hit the like button, subscribe, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And, like I said, Paleo, great game. I'm Dwayne.
I'm Alicia.
We are Blackboard Gaming.
And we will see you next time.